Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thanks again for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Happy Thursday to you. Off to a little bit of a late start here. I usually have meetings on Thursday mornings, just a heads up for you guys and gals, of course. But what we're going to do is look at Bitcoin, see what's going on. We had some pretty bearish activity yesterday. So far today looking fairly strong. We closed our one-day candle. Well, sorry, we're soon to close in the next 4 hours. Our one-day candlestick here at this important 0.382 level there, roughly 42,500. Okay, so that's a very, very strong support level, or at least it should be, and we're going to see if that holds. Okay, so that's great news there. We could just be range bound at the moment. Hard to say specifically, but hopefully at this point we can kind of validate some invalidations or invalidate some validations, however you see fit, and effectively see what's going on next. So again, if you're new to the channel, I'm not a financial advisor. I do love teaching people to trade. Hoping you learned something today. If you want to become a better trader, again, cryptocash.tech is a site, link down below. What we're looking for here, though, is this is a 7-day look back here for liquidation. So just to clarify, with that sweep down here recently, liquidated some at 41,800, but not a lot. Or you could just summarize that there's a lot of late longs there at about that 41.8, 42K mark, effectively in there right now. So the truth is there's a lot of liquidation below us and there is some above us. We're slightly closer to the liquidation levels at 44K above us here. So that's the level I've kind of foreseen as being swept at one point or another. This could be that leg up to get there. We're most of the way there anyway. So it's hard to say specifically, but once more initially outside looking in, it seems more probable that upper level at 44K will still be swept. Okay. So again, yesterday things were looking pretty bearish. Obviously a shift of momentum here. A lot can change in 24 hours, or in this case, since I last looked at it, roughly about 12 to 18 hours. So always interesting the way the charts work. So if you're watching and you're just kind of learning, you're part of the group and the community, just again, always be vigilant and understand that things change. This is just how the market is. It's consistently shifting, and it's just one of those interesting dynamics you have to be okay with, guys. Because if you're not, folks, to tell you what, the market will run on you, and you gotta be aware of adjusting on the fly. But again, swing trading, which I prefer to do, more large-term stuff, more macro-related, that's the important things to kind of look at. So let's actually do some macro analysis here. Quickly look at the weekly here. Before we do, just to quickly note here as well, Bitcoin dominance is overall up in the last couple of weeks, right? And coincidentally, we can see a lot of altcoins came down last couple of weeks. And generally, the concept there where Bitcoin dominance goes up, the dominance for altcoins goes down, okay, right? So you can kind of see this here, generally taping off for majority of the others here. This excludes the top 10, but effectively altcoins nonetheless, okay? So that's kind of where we're at there in the overall sense there. Take a look at the weekly for Bitcoin here. What is the deal? Well, let's quickly note, let's pull up a better chart. This is a bolder chart when it give us better averages. So let's take a look at the moving averages here. We can see we're above all four. So we're still generally bullish on Bitcoin. So again, anything above 37,300, we're still bullish, right? So that's a pretty big deal. Obviously, 37,000 is a long ways away, but generally speaking, that's roughly how low we could go without, kind of confirming any type of bearish type of momentum. Keep in mind, there is momentum here on the MACD that's starting to diverge. We haven't diverged completely. We could see just an MACD-FU. A stochastic RSI is not swinging up just yet, but in the next, I would say, month or so, we should be able to see that naturally pivot and see the next swing or leg up. This could even occur once we see, the Bitcoin halving, which is roughly 80 some odd days from now. Correct me if I'm wrong. So again, we're looking at the RSIs. Everything's looking pretty healthy here, right? We're right at 70 in the RSI, typical rejection zone, but also a bullish sign nonetheless. Okay. So truth is, everything's looking pretty solid here on the weekly. I think it's important to recognize we're above the moving averages, and that there's no significant sign of any type of bearish divergence, minus the moving averages on the MACD and stochastic, which essentially one's telling us one thing, the other's telling us another, right? So the truth is we're not there yet, and we don't need to overreact. Right now, though, what we are at on the daily, and this is a very positive sign here, we are testing the 50-day SMA, and if we close above 43K, that should be a very solid sign. Doesn't necessarily mean the price is just going to stay here and go up, right? We just got to recognize that. But the truth is, that would help us kind of understand we're on the right side of the tracks. We can see the 20-day SMA worked like a champion there, right down at 41.8. Nice little support level. So my original thought last night to short at 42,800, while we would have hit our take profit target, we wouldn't have gotten filled. Price would have came down, closed out essentially because we would have hit our take profit anyways. So what I'm getting at here is my original consensus last night, because I was chatting with my community in our group about 42,800 being a potential area of shorting. I'm not really leaning towards that right now at this exact moment. Obviously, depends on how the daily candlestick closes, but with us at this point, if we kind of look at the general volume here, 42.8 being below that is a resistance, being above it is a support. It's generally the concept here. It's that, some others call it point of control. I like to refer to it as like an average true range. Based on volume here, we can see there's tons and tons of support at that level. So again, closing above that today is actually pretty solid. So the truth is that candle wick down yesterday was nice to get an average down position for spot. I keep adding to my spot position every time the price comes down within a $500 increment. So for example, 42,000, 41,500, 41, 40,500, etc. Okay. Again, that's just me personally, but if you're not adding to spot right now, I don't know what you're doing. Again, price could come down and I'll continue to add to it. It doesn't matter. The truth is, I don't think we're going to see 40,000 again here in a few years, and I think it's going to be an unlikely circumstance. Granted, in another 4 or 5 years, right, we might actually see that at being the new low, because we typically see an 85% retracement from the top. But that may not happen too with the fact that Bitcoin halving is occurring, and then on top of that, the supply of Bitcoin is running out. Okay, supply and demand, I think it's going to be a thing here eventually. So MACD here, converging pretty solid, right? So we've seen 4 days of convergence. That hasn't changed at all. We're still over 50 on the RSI. We didn't lose that. We are trending towards that, but we didn't come below, okay? Again, all bullish signs. You can't argue, though, that stochastic RSI is swinging down. We're due for a correction. That's a very natural swing down after the price coming up and plateauing for a few days. So try not to read into that too much. Again, the daily time frame isn't as concerning as the 4 hour. And again, that's just my personal opinion based on the simple fact that I'm more of a swing trader, and the 4 hour works very well for the time frame in which I like to hold trades for. I prefer to hold a trade for 1 day, 24 hours, upwards of about a month. That's generally my range. Some trades go a little longer than that. I'll just let them go if they're in profit. That's generally the concept. They've typically always taken profit. But generally speaking, I'm not super concerned, right? I have alerts set. It'll let me know if we have invalidations, and I'll close the trade if necessary. With our injective trade yesterday, for example, that did hit our stop loss for, just so you know. In fact, we can go ahead and just be completely transparent here. While we did take some profits on 2 separate chain link trades, 49 and 33%, and a Matic short at 14, we did hit 54% on the stop loss for injective. Again, if you're following my trading strategy, this will not phase you, okay? Again, that was a level of invalidation. It's likely a resistance now for injective, and if Bitcoin plateaus and goes sideways or down, we should see injective continue down, okay? Generally what we're looking at here for that. So what does that all mean for us here? That essentially just implies that the 4 hour time frame is looking pretty decent. We're above all moving averages. We are swinging upwards on the RSI. Money flow index is low, but also trailing behind, not too bad right there at 50. And of course, we can see the second stochastic RSI convergence. That carries much more weight than the first. I've always told you that. Hopefully you've been listening. This is one of those ones you want to listen to. The 4 hour secondary convergence or divergence carries more weight. Okay. So again, that really implies that we have a decent chance here at this continuing higher. Once again, a closure above 43,500 would be super solid. That'd put us just above that key level resistance here, because we can kind of see there's a pretty solid amount of resistance at this level here. So let's just go ahead and put that on the charts. Okay, we can also kind of see too that there's a slight incline here, but not too much. But no matter how you look at it, the price action is moving up and over, right? We're establishing tentative higher highs and higher lows as well if you zoom in a little bit further. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and take a look at the hourly. We'll double check a couple of things here. This is where we want to wait just a little bit to be patient, but generally speaking, this does kind of exude bullish behavior. Okay, so being above this level, being above the cloud, conversion line isn't above the baseline yet. Lagging span is not free and clear. We're still a little premature. But I would say at today's candlestick close, that's roughly 4 hours from now, we should have a pretty solid indication if the price is going to be able to sustain this level at 43.2 or not. Okay, again, I'm looking for a closure about 43,000 or higher, being above that average true range and volume at about 42.8. That's what I'm looking for here to confirm, to invalidate shorts and to potentially validate some longs. Okay, so again, that's kind of where we're at there, but is this a false positive? Is this a dead cat bounce? Truth is, it very well could be, and we got to be ready for it. But if it isn't, I think that we're going to see some bullish confirmational signs here soon. We already have them on the 4 hour. The hourly is just kind of lagging behind a little bit, which is odd because it's an hourly. It's supposed to move faster. But the truth is, the lagging span on the cloud, that's something I really pay close attention to, and I think that's going to work to our advantage here shortly. Very well could. We'll see soon, of course, if that happens. Thank you again for watching. If you're not part of our community, make sure you check out our Bitunix phenomenal exchange. No KYC or VPN required. Link down below. Reference our Discord. We have a phenomenal Discord group over here. Everyone is super awesome and very, very collaborative. So We got general and private chat, of course. Obviously, you want to become a better trader. CryptoCash.tech is a site, comes with the trading university, and of course, my trade signals as well. Hope you have a great rest of the day. Thanks again so much for joining me here. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.